Don Pasquale by Gaetano Donizetti. The synopsis is presented by Opera Inside, the online opera guide. The roles: Don Pasquale, old and rich bachelor. Dr. Malatesta, doctor and friend of Don Pasquale. Ernesto, nephew of Don Pasquale. Norina, young widow, in love with Ernesto. In the home of Don Pasquale, a unmated old man who is a big miser, despite his wealth. He is nervous, because he is expecting his family doctor and friend Dr. Malatesta to discuss an important matter. When he finally appears, Don Pasquale excitedly asks if he has found a bride. Malatesta affirms and tells of a lovable and modest young woman he has chosen for him. Pasquale asks her name. Malatesta tells him it is his sister Sophronia. She has just left the monastery and will pass by today. Pasquale is enthusiastic. He wishes to see her immediately. When Malatesta leaves the room, the old man feels like 20 again. His nephew Ernesto appears. Don Pasquale is a wealthy man and wants to bequeath his inheritance to him, but on condition that he marries respectably and richly. Don Pasquale has already chosen a candidate, but Ernesto loves the pauper, demanding Norina. However, Don Pasquale doesn't accept her and he tells him that if he marries her, he will disinherit him. When Ernesto rejects Pasquale's candidate, the old man tells him that he will marry again and that Ernesto will go away empty-handed. At first Ernesto acts amused. When Ernesto realizes that the old man is serious about his marriage plans, he suffers a snub. He was counting on the money to set up his own home with Norina. When he learns that the bride is Malatesta's sister Sophronia, he feels betrayed because he believes Malatesta to be his friend. In Norina's house, a servant brings her a message from Ernesto. She learns the news of Pasquale's marriage plans and that Ernesto has decided to leave Europe out of desperation. When Malatesta comes by, he encounters a desperate Norina. When he finds out the reason, he laughs. He explains her that the whole thing had been set up by him to outwit the old man. The sister doesn't even exist. His plan is that Norina herself should play Malata's sister. Don Pasquale could be tricked into arranging a marriage in his house. She would have to play a modest, naive girl. When Don Pasquale signs the marriage contract, he will be at her mercy. Norina is enthusiastic about the plan. At night at Don Pasquale's house, Ernesto sits on packed suitcases. He feels abandoned and sad because it has become impossible to marry Norina. It is morning and Don Pasquale has thrown himself into his best clothes in joyful expectation of the bride. She appears accompanied by Malatesta. Don Pasquale is taken with her modesty and Norina visibly likes the evil game. When pretty Sophronia lifts her veil, it's all up with Don Pasquale. He wants the notary to appear immediately. Of course, Malatesta has his notary already waiting outside the door. There is one problem. When the married couple sign, there is only one witness, Malatesta. At this moment Ernesto bursts in and everything goes haywire. Don Pasquale tells him with relish that he has to act as a witness of the marriage. Ernesto looks at the bride and doesn't believe his eyes when he sees Norina. Malatesta quickly tries to introduce him to the plan. When the marriage certificate is signed, Sophronia suddenly changes. The modest nun becomes a monster. She bullies poor Don Pasquale around and when she chooses Ernesto as her companion for a walk, he is totally flabbergasted and Ernesto amuses himself deliciously. Next, Sophronia asks to see the servants. To Pasquale's horror, she decides to double their salary and to hire more staff. Don Pasquale realizes that he has been outwitted and Ernesto rejoices. Meanwhile the house has changed beyond all recognition. It is newly furnished and there are servants all over. Don Pasquale is stunned and goes through all the bills. Sophronia appears. She is dressed for theater. When Don Pasquale wants to refuse her a visit to the theater, she slaps him in the face. Pasquale collapses and Norina feels sympathy. But the plan has to be carried out. As she walks out, she deliberately drops a piece of paper. Don Pasquale reads it. It's a letter from Ernesto for a midnight tryst in the garden. Pasquale swears revenge and calls for Malatesta, with whom he wants to draw up a plan. they decide to secretly ambush Sophronia and Ernesto. With this proof, he could then throw the unloved wife out of the house. It's night in the garden. Ernesto sings a serenade as watchword. The two come together and conjure up their love. When Malatesta and Pasquale arrive with a lantern in their hand and want to surprise them, Ernesto manages to disappear. Don Pasquale confronts Sophronia, but she denies everything. Don Pasquale wants to chase her out of the house, but Sophronia refuses. Nothing can be done without proof. Malatesta casually mentions that tomorrow another woman comes into the household. It is Ernesto's love, Norina. When Sophronia hears the name Norina, she explains that she can never live under the same roof as this woman. Don Pasquale now smells his chance. Malatesta's plan seems to work out and he fetches Ernesto, and Don Pasquale accepts his marriage to Norina. He even agrees to give them a dowry just to get rid of the monster Sophronia. Now Malatesta ends the masquerade. Don Pasquale shows generosity and forgives them for the evil game. He gives his blessing to the marriage. Norina presents the moral of the story. Who wants to marry in old age makes of himself only a fool.
www.operaInside.com. All about operas. Learn more about this great opera. With interesting facts and great YouTube videos. Visit us.